of the HEPA, the American Hellenic Educational Progressive Association. It's a Greek-American organization. Saluting the Olympics with this tribute to Athens, the site of the 2004 games. Also won the Queen's Trophy for most effective use and display of roses in concept design and presentation.
It's so intricate. Look at that urn. The Temple of Zeus is decorated with crushed sweet rice, sesame seeds, and shaded with Ming moss.
10 past Olympians aboard that float.
Here we have the Flugerville High School Band, not easy to say.
Not at all.
The pride of Flugerville, Texas. This is a terrific band. They performed at Epcot Center, at Florida, and at Disney World, and at the Orange Bowl parade performances.
345 members strong. They do like to travel coast to coast. Hailing from one of the state's oldest German communities, Flugerville, Texas.
Could you point out a tenor sax if you saw one go by?
You know, if one pulls up lane with a bad hammy, I'm here for him.
We'll send Leslie Goodell over to him.
That's right. Make my mom so happy. Ahead of our time, 2000 BC, the city of West Covina.
With our friends, the Flintstones.
Won the Past Presidents Award, which goes for most creative design and use of both floral and non-floral materials.
You've been talking all about Fantasia and how far animation is.
Right.
Remember with the Flintstones, did you ever notice that when Fred was driving the car, he went past the same house 5 times?
I did kind of notice that after a while. Notice they have their seatbelts on.
Yes, that's modern. His feet are still going through the floor.
Yabba-dabba-doo. That is just magnificent to see it come down Orange Grove like that.
That's fun.
Even an authentic beard and all. Again, folks, it's, you know, there's seeds or flowers, everything organic. I'd like to thank AT&T, proud presenting sponsor of the 2000 Rose Bowl game, for providing today's aerial coverage. A little overcast, don't have the crystal blue sky like we've had in the past, but again, this time yesterday, torrential rain. And so we are so happy that it has not rained on the Rose Parade yet again. Very seldom does it rain.
Yeah, since 1955. Generations now grow up thinking it just never rains on the Rose Parade.
No. We always know what in the parade order, number 57. It's always going to be the Heinz Company. It's a given.
Well, I love that basket full of tomatoes going up the back there. They are turning them into New Year's Day rosettes. I think that's proof that a rose is not a rose.
You say tomato, I say tomato. 57 tomatoes. And this is the first time in the parade that tomatoes have been used. And luckily we're doing a halfway decent job, or they would be using those tomatoes right about now.
Makes you want some French fries.
Oh, I am hungry. It was an early morning. Come on back, folks, with more of the Rose Parade in a moment.
Like white coats, tails, and blue and white Caicos.
In the 1998 Pittsburgh St. Patrick's Day Parade, they were the best overall entry. Does that mean they were wearing overalls?
Ching-ching. Speaking of pride, Butler High is proud to claim as a graduate the former Secretary of Defense, William Perry. Now, they've got big pom-pom style.
Yeah, they're sort of done in a hula hoop style. Look at that. Wow.
Yeah.
They're going to do that for 5.5 miles.
I just want to point out that those girls have great hamstrings. In order to do that kind of a kick, you've got to have a good hamstring going. Your 8 years or 10 years of formal ballet training comes in handy. Here's a float that takes on a couple of the cosmic questions we'll all be wondering about in the millennium ahead. Are there intelligent beings in space? And will they have any malt shops? What do you think, Doug?
Well, the answer on the float is a comforting yes. It's called Cosmic Malt Shops, and it's presented by Ruby's. Teenage space aliens are enjoying some down-to-earth delights served up by that soda jerk from space. A little pet robot dog is watching through the window. Look at those features.
Beautiful. Notice the animation as the customers seated on stools spin. The soda jerk turns from side to side and the dog wags its tail. The heads of the aliens are carved from a solid piece of urethane foam using knives, rasps, and jeweler's files.
Rasps?
Rasps. Jeweler's file. You don't think Harry Winston loaned them a jeweler file, do you?
Now, the skin tones have a special blend of split peas and guess what?
What?
Dalmung beans.
That's something else.
Where do you find a good Dalmung bean this time of year?
Oh, here's the Tournament of Roses president.
He is probably the Rose Parade's most important person. Yes, Victoria? Even more important than us. And you're right, he is the president, Kenneth H. Burroughs. Tournament of Roses president. Riding with him there are his wife, Barbara, and daughter, Deborah.
Ken Burroughs is the head of a furniture company, but in the past year he's devoted virtually his entire time to working on the parade. It is the culmination of his 26 years in the Tournament of Roses Association, during which he's been the chairman of 7 tournament committees.
Visions of the future.
From lovely Pasadena, CBS brings you the 111th Rose Parade with this year's theme, Celebration 2000, Visions of the Future.
Make this possible. There are 27 committees. They spend 2 years on each committee before they get shifted. They can't take more than 1 year off or they lose their spot on the committee. It's almost like a fraternity. And they may be volunteers, but they actually have to pay $40 in annual dues and buy those white suits, which cost about $250. If you're on this committee for years, there's a good chance you may have to buy a bigger size later on.
That's the truth, but they are fantastic. 15,000 volunteers in all to help put on the Tournament of Roses parade.
And year after year, they come back.
Oh,
they
yeah.
Make a vacation out of it.
It's amazing. And they have that passion that just never leaves them. Hawaii Pearl City, now coming down Orange Grove Boulevard.
This 350-member band has also performed in the Ginza Parade in Tokyo. This is their 4th appearance in the Rose Parade. Ooh, a little chilly.
No, it is to be wearing grass skirts. But they're true performers. You couldn't tell how nippy it is. And again, what are we complaining about? You know, all across the country, you know, there's sub-0 degree temperatures and things like that. So it's cold by these standards out here in Southern California. Well, 2 people that I've gotten to know very well this past year want to wish us a Happy New Year as well.
Hi, I'm Diane Sawyer.
And I'm Charles Gibson. We know how early you have to get up to get a good place at the Rose Bowl Parade, and we can relate to that.
Yes, we who rise before dawn salute all of you. Wish you a great day at the parade, a great new year, and why not, a great millennium?
Sure.
Yes, all of it.
And a great game coming up. On Wisconsin fight valiantly Stanford, and good morning, America.
Yeah.
All right, there they are there. We see it. We see them in the back there next to that spinning
There they
wheel.
are.
There they are.
And they'll come back
All
out
right.
the other end. It's amazing.
Okay.
It's a great
All right.
float.
Okay, here goes the pointy things. The pointy things are now pointing up. And now, okay, zapping them into the deal.
You know, Doug, while we have a moment, we want to thank some of the Tournament of Roses people who have been so helpful in our parade coverage.
Well, you know who I want to thank is Chief Executive Officer John H.B. French, who is retiring after 19 years with the Tournament of Roses. Jack, we wish you all the best.
Also, Chief Operating Officer William V. Flynn and Rob Lynch, our Rose Parade liaison, who worked with our CBS executive producer, Michael Gargiulo.
I know him too.
Emmy award-winning Michael
Michael
Gargiulo.
Gargiulo, yeah. And they're the other kids right there.
Just beautiful.
All right.
Well, these are the Welsh dragons, I think.
Actually, they had time to actually crawl under the throat of the float. These riders are the Welsh dragons. Yes, indeed. They are dressed in Renaissance costumes. They and their ponies and cobs come from all over Southern California. Their ponies and what's cobs? The cob is a short, thick-set riding horse.
This is the third appearance in the Rose Parade for the Welsh Dragons. They've been active in parades since 1982, and they include not only adult champion riders and drivers, but a national performance champion who's only 9 years old, Allison Bronson.
And they've lent their horses to handicap riding programs and to special equestrian Olympics.
Excellent.
That's really, really cool.
You know that...
Fantasy float. Best display of fantasy and imagination.
This float will virtually, of virtual reality. You have to wonder, will it ever replace real reality, Doug? Before you make up your mind, have a look at this float. It's called Virtual Reality, and it's the 41st consecutive entry from Dr. Pepper.
What is real reality?
Oh, don't get deep.
Thanks to his three-dimensional visor helmet, that youngster can take off into space exploration, travel back to the days of knights in armor, even go back 100 million years or so to the era of the dinosaurs.
The chair turns and spins as it gyrates up and down on a specially designed animation unit. The astronaut floats realistically in space. The knight's steed rears up, and the dinosaurs move their heads and legs. It's really something.
The
It's sort of like a
astronauts.
lowrider, isn't it?
Look at the arms on that guy. That's too many video games for that kid. Too many carbohydrates. All right, the astronaut space world is purple cattleya orchids, blue delphinium, and iris. The knight's armor is silverleaf protea, and his coat of arms and crest are red carnations. The details on the dinosaurs are made of chartreuse Kermit button palms, orange kumquats, and Vanda orchid florets.
Hi.
I guess it's always 10, 2, and 4. Isn't that Dr. Pepper time?
I'm still marveling at the biceps, really. Here we go.
Spinning and twirling.
I have to wonder, has that gladiator gotten licked yet?
All right, dressed in all-American red, white, and blue, here are the 325 members of the Los Angeles Unified High School Honor Band. They're the only band in the line of march specifically put together for this parade, and it's their 28th straight appearance here.
To get their big band sound, they confine themselves to brass and percussion. The musicians are the best from over 700,000 students in 49 high schools in Los Angeles School District. That is the second largest school district in the nation, and it is more than 87% minority students.
The band was formed in 1972 to march in this parade. They march and play over 100 miles in the 2 months before the parade to get themselves ready. After that, the 5.5 miles on this route must seem like a short walk in the park. All right, the judge's special trophy for outstanding city entry. This float looks pretty frightening with its monstrous two-headed dragon. But don't worry, it's not real. But you say it looks real, it's not real. Well, you know, it's the most real dragon I've ever seen.
Make up your mind, Doug.
Well, explain it then.
That monster exists only in the fertile mind of the magician Merlin, whom you see up front. The float is from the 21st Century Insurance Company. It's titled Visions of Wisdom and Imagination, and it's making a point.
Look at the beard on Merlin. There are the dragons, looking real.
He's got some type of an exotic bird.
A lot of animation on this float, too.
And what? It's a float?
Well, there's some smoke. Now, you see all the books on the float? They're right up front. They're the point. Their reading unlocks the world of imagination.
And knowledge.
Learning is the key to wisdom and entertainment and future worlds. Merlin found that dragon in one of those dusty old scrolls or antique charts, and he brought it to life.
The two heads, the neck moved down and then up to the height of 30 feet, from side to side to a width of 24 feet. The wings flash, eyes open shut, smoke bellows from the nostrils, and the tail whips around. Hope Doug is right about it's not being real.
Well, Merlin's hair is going to be curly for all that steam.
You recognize the uniform, of course, the U.S. Navy, and this is not a Navy band. It's the United States Navy Band from the nation's capital. It's made up of 99 musicians, 3 officers, and 1 drum major.
Wow, talk about sharp looking.
It's beautiful.
Look at that bearskin hat he's got on. This band was not put together by some officer boarding a ship and asking, hey, anybody here play the triangle? No! These are Navy people, yes, but they're also professional musicians. Well, it sounds like it.
Just beautiful.
Some of the best in the country.
I bet. They perform at White House ceremonies, memorial services at Arlington National Cemetery, and they've been part of 18 presidential inaugurations. They also play public concerts in the Washington area.
Anchors Away is what they're playing right now. They also will be playing a medley of Columbia, Gem of the Ocean, America, and Take Her Down. Now, the last one is an official song of the Navy Submarine Force in honor of its 100th anniversary.
Hard to believe.
Isn't it? It is hard to believe that we've been going under for 100 years.
It's hard to believe.
The National Trophy winner, Best Depiction of Life in the United States. As you can tell from that team of majestic Clydesdales, here comes the float from the city of St. Louis, which is celebrating its 47th year in the parade.
It's called a family tradition, and the farm it shows was originally the home of Ulysses S. Grant, the famed Civil War general and our 18th president, who was later bought by the Bush family of St. Louis. And that log cabin in the rear is a replica of the one Grant built in the 1850s, which was before he was either a famous general or a president.
All right, you can look at the little Clydesdale pony in the back there.
Oh.
That's a live pony. Isn't he cute?
Sweet.
He's going to be pulling this cart one day, no doubt. All right, the other animals on the float are not. They are sculptured and animated.
Beautiful. The float is equipped with a steel wagon tongue attached to the front axle of the coach, which is hydraulically adjustable and extends between the hitch and the Clydesdale team. Sounds like a coupling to me, right, Jasper?
Hey, look at that rack.
That's a coupling.
There's the cottage, Grant's little house there.
Riding by now, the Valley Hunt Club. If you love the parade, this is the moment to cheer, because this is the group that got it all started back in 1890. It's just beautiful.
Those are Frisian horses pulling the antique Kimball Park drag carriage made in Chicago in the 1800s. The 2 outriders are also Frisians.
Riding in the carriage are Valley Hunt Club President David Bianchi and his family, all dressed for the space age.
Okay, this is kind of interesting. The club was founded in 1888 by people who liked riding through the fields of Pasadena to hunt jackrabbits. I guess there was no primetime TV then, eh? Here's a float whose title has a double meaning. It's called For All the World to See, and it's the 10th parade entry from Lions Clubs International.
One meaning is the world seeing through the telescope. The other is the Lions' effort to combat blindness everywhere. Through the telescope, the world, and we see an ophthalmologist examining a young patient.
The telescope is supported by a sturdy base depicting a lion's head and feet. The base is decorated with straw flowers, carnations, gerbera daisies, roses, and mums. The telescope is covered with straw flowers, sweet rice farina, and millet seeds.
Did I say ophthalmologist?
I think you did.
The globe has blue status and green tea leaves. Here's a band that's a real rarity, and not only because it's so huge, 502 members to be exact, but because it comes not from one high school, but from 67 high schools.
Oh, it is large. Look at that. This is the Wyoming All-State High School Band, and as the name tells you, it's made up of the best high school students from all over the state.
It's been assembled only 3 times before. We think the parade is worth it.
And they're right. Look, if you didn't save a good spot, you wouldn't see this. Here is a story we all know thanks to the famous Grimm Brothers fairy tale, The Frog Prince. It's called Hopefully Ever After, and it's presented by Sparklets.
Up front, you can see the beautiful princess about to kiss the frog, who is so hopeful he's going to turn into a handsome prince. He's already wearing his crown, Doug.
Further back, you can see the royal throne. Its upholstery is made of pompadour orchid petals with wood tones created from ironed corn husk, and clover seed accents. My question is this. It's very simple. There is a princess. There is a soon-to-be prince.
Right.
There is one throne.
Right.
Who gets it?
She sits on his lap. What are you talking about?
Looks like he's going to leap right over her.
Well, could. This is a fairy tale, Doug, and in a fairy tale, all is possible. If a frog can become a prince, why worry about throne room, really? Concentrate on those wonderful topiaries. They're made of clusters of Ecuadorian blush roses. Look at this, Doug. Just beautiful. The tournament
it's a trophy winner.
Trophy.
This float is called Refreshing Times, and it shows the kind of wonderland that Mother Nature can offer in the new millennium. Ooh. With a lot of help from us.
The wonderland is covered with fragrant leaves, flowers, and the imagery of cool waterfalls and pools. Then there are those stylized mint leaf boats mixed in with the fairies and enchanted characters. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Boy, that is very...
I understand why that's the tournament's special trophy.
Oh, I know. Who is in the mint boats? Can you see there?
People.
Right there are people. But they are people who look like people. They are twins. They look like each other. See that? Presented by the William Wrigley Jr. Company. Up there are 10 sets of identical twins.
My goodness. That is really wonderful.
10 sets.
You probably didn't know
chances?
this. Oh, I don't know. Slim, I suppose. You probably didn't know this either. I didn't. But there is a group called the National Organization of Mothers of Twins Clubs, NOMOTC. It has 450 member clubs throughout the United States. From Duncan, South Carolina, here's the Regiment Band of James F. Burns High School. There are 267 of them in all, wearing blue coats, white pants, and blue stripes, silver and red sequin, front sashes, red cummerbunds, and white shoes.
The school is located in a fast-growing industrial area between Greenville and Spartanburg. I have a lot of friends out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I do. I wish them a grand Happy New Year. And of the 1,500 students in the high school, nearly a third are involved in the band program, which includes 2 jazz bands, 3 concert bands, as well as this band.
This band has marched in 2 Macy's Thanksgiving parades and a presidential inauguration. It's also won 5 state marching band championships and 42 marching band grand championships in the last 16 years.
I have a question for you, Victoria.
Shoot.
Do you think you can answer it?
I'll try.
Who is James F. Burns? Huh?
I'm not sure.
She's scratching her head. What you can't see is Victoria scratching her head. He was the Secretary of State under President Harry Truman. And, of course, he was from South Carolina.
Well, you learn something new every day.
Every single day, you know. This is an Aaron Copland song, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Aaron Copland? He was a very famous American composer. I've even got our song expert confused now.
Sounds great.
That is fantastic.
I love the girls' costumes. You probably think that being a scientist who can travel ahead to the future and back to the past would be lots of fun. Well, here's a float with a warning for you, Doug.
You go back in time. The next thing you know, you'll run into a curious Tyrannosaurus who takes the wheel of your time machine and crashes it into the scientist, and he dies. Well, that's not what happened at all. He crashes it and the scientist into the future.
Wow.
And there's the dinosaur right now in the future.
You know, the next thing you know, a couple of time cops are there in their space patrol ships, while a futuristic TV reporter is trying to get the story for evening news. Terribly complicated.
This is a trophy winner. It's the humor trophy.
And we can see why.
I'm laughing.
It is really cute, though. Look, the dinosaur looks like goggles on of some kind.
It's overheating, that top car.
Time police.
Is that Mike Gargiulo hanging from the tail? Mike.
This float is called Stolen Time, and it's the 52nd consecutive Rose Parade entry from Cal Poly Universities of Pomona and San Luis Obispo.
Look at this, Doug.
Right after the float from Cal Poly and San Luis Obispo, here are two campuses that we saw that built the float. This next equestrian group is from only one of them, from Pomona. These are the magnificent horses, all from the Kellogg Arabian Horse Center at the Pomona campus.
The riders are Cal Poly students. The mounts are, of course, a world-famous breed. Most of the horse down there also took part in the Rose Parade in 1997. Hey, anyone out there who's never heard of a Lego? I don't see any hands raised. So maybe this float needs no introduction, but that won't stop Doug Davidson.
No. I see one hand out there. You, sir, you. The float is called Visions of Fun, and it's about the most famous of children's toys. Mm-hmm. It should be labeled Fun Zone for kids, I think, because it shows a raised sky cycle track, a castle, toy cars, animals, and other kids' toys.
Who are you trying to kid, Doug? I've been on the floor with my and Jasper putting together Legos, and I know you've done the same with your kids.
Yes, I have. I've stepped on them, too.
Ouch. The float presents an odd problem. Often you create things of plastic and try to make them look natural. This float uses all sorts of natural materials, and it has to make them look like the plastic building blocks.
Thousands of mums and carnations bloom. Blue and purple status. We see the castle stones of raw sunflower seed, artichoke seed, and the mortar poppy seed and ground sweet rice. Of all the equestrian groups in the parade, this is probably the most exotic. Here are Onanda and the Eagles of Tuba. Tuba is as close to being as far away from us as you possibly can get. It is in the Republic of Southern Siberia. That decision is in the hands of three very capable judges.
Janice Feldman is a writer, teacher, and designer of garden and outdoor furnishings.
It's in her hands, and in George Hazenberg's, who is a horticulturist who owns and operates his own greenhouses.
And Melanie Taylor, who's a noted silkscreen artist who teaches inner-city students.
They've got a tough choice among a lot of great floats. Let's take a look at some right now, shall we? Well, we're looking out here.
Oh, the float is titled Soaring to the Future, which I think is a great name for it. And then we've moved on now to Yvonne Darling Hagel.
She's the astronaut we met yesterday.
Absolutely.
She's on that
fantastic.
float.
As I was saying, it's Soaring into the Future, which I think is a great name for it because it looks just like it's going to leave the parade route and take off.
That powerful eagle really does seem to be soaring into the future. It's a tribute to space exploration, particularly the effort to explore Mars. Those floral pictographs are of Mars and other space travel, and the ones of Mars are based on actual images.
Here's we just missed the new Buffalo Soldiers, and now we're on to Fast Track for Good Fortune.
Yes, we certainly are. That's a family of adorable pandas aboard this float. 3 of them in that fanciful locomotive, the 4th aboard that box of fortune cookies in the rear.
It's called Fast Track to Good Fortune, and it's the first float entry from Panda Express. There's a lot of animation going on there. Papa Panda rings the bell, the stacks emit smoke, the faceplate on the engine spins, and the baby panda on the tender back there waves goodbye.
I always get the fortune cookie with no fortune.
Did I? Oh, there's a train.
You know, I think that those wheels are actually moving the float.
Really?
Yeah. It's true.
Big train, Jasper. Here's a real rarity among high school bands. It's the combined bands of 2 high schools, both from Spokane, Washington, Meade High School. Youngsters are in black trousers and jackets. Mount Spokane High School musicians are in the white trousers and the white and red jackets, Doug, in case you were wondering.
I was wondering. Mount Spokane is kind of the baby brother or sister of the two. It was opened in Meade District in 1997, starting with freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. In that very first year, the jazz band won the Lionel Hampton Jazz Festival.
Lionel Hampton, the great. When Meade opened in the early 30s, it was the only high school in the district. Its band goes back 36 years, and in 1980 it marched in the Rose Parade. It also took part in the Orange Bowl Parade in 1982 and won prizes in many competitions.
Here they come. They're coming at you, America.
Great.
No, you can see how they've kind of put the different schools in the different areas. You can tell by the different outfits.
I noticed the hamstrings weren't as stretched in this parade.
Oh, you dancers. So patty. Crisp drum section.
It's just beautiful here in Pasadena. The aroma is just spectacular.
Very floral.
Very floral.
Extremely floral.
FTD has done a great job. In our booth, in our CBS booth, don't you think?
Oh,
It's
that's
just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. And these are different flags than we've seen all parade.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get a shot of these flag girls here.
It has an Asian quality to it, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, sort of like a fan. Or a Batman quality.
All right.
Here's a float with a really straightforward title. Dawning of a New Millennium. But after that, there's nothing straightforward about it at all. It's really a flight of fancy.
This is the 83rd parade entry from the City of Sierra Madre Rose Float Association, and it's a celebration of people, art, and nature coming together to welcome the new year, decade, century, and millennium.
Oh, no, wait. Now, that moon is turning to a sun. Oh, that's terrific.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, wow.
What do we have in there in terms of flowers? We have rosebuds.
There are 3 huge rosebuds up front. Insect elves creep amid the blossoms. Beyond the flower is a celestial wave rises carrying a seed pod that looks like a gondola. And in it are the Sun Prince and the Moon Princess.
And she's waving. Just gorgeous. But when the Sun Prince waves, the opposite happens in terms of when it pivots. It's very interesting. This is not state-of-the-art astronomy, but it is fun, Doug. Beautiful.
Look at the pistols. The girls as pistols.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
Flower parts. Always like to take the opportunity to misinform our audience. Pistils or stamen? Stamen.
These riders are John Sutil's Parrot and Arabians. The mounts are all purebred Arabian horses, and the riders wear outfits inspired by Middle Eastern desert tribesmen.
And by the looks of it, they are not microwave safe. The horse is noted for its great beauty, its high tail carriage. I noticed that right away. Its endurance and its versatility. This group is noted for the fact that they ride together only once a year, here on New Year's Day, for this special parade, and they come together from Nevada and all over California.
The group is wonderful.
Look at all these celebration of the new millennium and to ring in the new year. And Leslie, we got you off the streets this year. Is it everything that you expected and more?
It's really been a pleasure. I think that going into the third millennium, now in the third millennium, that the Rose Parade is in great shape, and I have really enjoyed it, Robin.
Well, you know, the tradition is New Year's resolutions, so...
Oh, a New Year's resolution. Well, a New Year's wish I would have would be for health and opportunity for everyone. My New Year's resolution, to learn the tango.
Oh, to learn it. How shallow is that? I was thinking more of world peace, to do more for mankind. No, really, to stay in the moment. We're so blessed in all that we do and all our work, but to stay in the moment and to celebrate what we are achieving. And it's been a wonderful way to start the new year. I appreciate being next to you, Leslie.
You too. Happy New Year to you and to everyone.
For Leslie Visser and Leslie Goodell, I'm Robin Roberts. Thanks for joining us. This marvelous tradition continues here in Pasadena, California. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com, part of the GO Network. This has been a proud presentation of ABC Sports, continuing the tradition of excellence.
Want to mess with. And it's sponsored by a group you wouldn't want to mess with either, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department.
Wait, isn't that Huel
It
Brenner up there?
does look like it.
The float has an unusual double title, Making Wishes Come True, Children Are Our Future. But hey, if the sheriffs want a double title, that's okay with me. That Genie is presiding over a fantastical kingdom with brilliant gardens, onion-domed buildings, and magic carpet.
Hey, Victoria, check out that camel. Is that a one-hump?
I don't know. They're just humping along.
Look at those little sweet faces. Those carpets take flight as the Genie nods his head and lifts and lower his arms. From his magic lamp, a mist of smoke appears.
It's just beautiful. 32-foot tall Genie can lower to 17 feet in height in less than 45 seconds to get under the freeway bridge. That sounds impressive,
Wow.
But for a Genie, a piece of cake, I suppose.
I think you can do it.
What's your wish for 2000?
I think if I were the Genie, that little thing on my forehead would be very annoying.
Do you have a wish for 2000?
I wish health and happiness for everyone.
Wow.
I hope that life can be fair for everyone.
This is the international trophy, Doug. Not to rush you along. The float is called 2000 Year of the Dragon, and it's presented by China Airlines. We don't know what kind of year 2000 will be, but if it's anything like that dragon, it should be really exciting.
It represents Chinese mythology, and on the float, he's 105 feet long as he twists and coils that massive scaled body.
Look at here's another one of those equestrian groups, Doug.
What are they? They are the Tanner Appaloosa group. You know, that comes from the American Indian Palouse, which means spotted horse.
But nowadays, Appaloosas come in a variety of colors and combinations, from just a sprinkle of white to a leopard. Now that we've defined Appaloosa, how about Tanner? Oh, the name of this float is Future Unlimited, and what it shows us is a city of the future. And if it doesn't make it as a city, it might really work as a fun ride.
Now check out this roller coaster. It's about to come through there. That roller coaster will get up to speeds of 22 miles an hour. That sounds fast.
It's absolutely
You think it's safe?
beautiful. I don't know. I don't like roller coasters personally.
The two people riding on it are the people who designed it. I think it's the only two people they could get to ride on. There they go now. There's one of the designers.
It's so much fun. The brilliance of that cityscape is achieved with 15,000 fluorescent colored roses, 7,000 blue iris. Oh my goodness, and 3,000 white dendrobian orchids. Oh my
Getting
goodness.
the crowd
The parade has shown us
There he goes.
some beautiful floral waterfalls, but the ones here are real water recirculated through a system of pumps. Oh,
The float is designed and built and decorated by the volunteers of the Downey Rose Float Association. It's the 80th year they've been in the parade.
That's a fun float.
Miss Downey's on there, too. What we're looking at here is the Fairfield, California High School Marching Band. Now, I was mentioning they have bagpipers in that band. That's so terrific. I used to play the bagpipe. Did you know that?
Oh, I did. I don't know so much about you, Doug. The bagpipers are wonderful. The name of this float is Liberty for All, and on it is the largest and most detailed statue ever created for the Rose Parade, also possibly the most famous statue.
The float is presented by the family of Freemasonry, who point out proudly that the Statue of Liberty was designed by artist Frederick Auguste Bartholdi, who was a Freemason. Did you know that?
Well, kind of makes sense. The statue in the Rose Parade stands 50 feet high, a giant by parade standards, but the lady in New York Harbor is 152 feet tall, and she stands on a 150-foot pedestal. The big Lady Liberty does not bow, or should I say curtsy, to anyone. But the one in the parade must lower herself to 17 feet to get under the freeway bridge.
Wow.
That bridge.
That bridge is causing these float designers a lot of trouble.
Yes, it is.
That is really pretty, though, isn't it?
It's great.
We've all learned in school the Statue of Liberty was a gift from the people of France to the people of America, and I must say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Here we are.
These are the classic curly riders. And no, they are not a tribute to one of the Three Stooges. The classic curly here is the American Bashkir curly, one of the most interesting horses in this or any other parade. For one thing, they are the only known breed to be hypoallergenic. It's amazing that they've all been tested.
That's really something.
And that's nothing to do, and that's nothing to sneeze at, Victoria.
Hey, he's the most talked about bug of 2000, and you've wondered what he looks like in the flesh, or in this case, in the flora. Well, now here he is, the Y2K bug himself or herself. We're not sure about that.
And he doesn't worry the folks in Alhambra, California at all. They call their float R.I.P. Y2K bug. As you know, R.I.P. stands for rest in peace, so they're pronouncing him dead. And he sure doesn't look too good up there, does he?
No.
Got those X's on his eyes.
And thank God there were no glitches globally.
Yeah, wasn't that terrific?
Great. He's changed the computer. His face looks sickly. His eyes don't seem to be seeing much. Well, there you go. For the first time in the parade, a total of 6 images will be created using a split screen and a tri-vision system.
The bug himself is covered with silver leaf, lentil seeds, tea leaves, straw flowers, crushed sweet rice. Alhambra, by the way, is just down the road from us. It's their 70th Rose Parade entry.
Oh, that's Bill Gates pushing the float. Did you see him? Just beautiful. It is a gorgeous day here.
He's definitely not feeling well at all.
And we have sunshine.
Bent
we are
antennae.
packed.
Oh, we have another trophy winner.
Yay.
The Volunteers Trophy.
Okay.
You know what that's for?
Volunteerism?
No, it's for the best floral design of parade theme under 35 feet high, 35 feet in length. And here he is. The float is called Ringin' in the New Year, which is exactly what that teddy bear is doing. Literally. His arm is swinging, the bell is ringing. If he started at midnight, he's been doing it for around 11 hours now. And boy, his arm must be tired.
Yeah, well, he's got good biceps too, if you'll notice. But the thing about teddy bears is they always seem jolly. I don't think I've ever seen an unhappy teddy bear. This one is not only jolly, he's also cuddly. Kiwanis International is the sponsor of this float, and the bear symbolizes the club's concern for the world's children and their commitment to eliminate iodine deficiency disorders around the world.
I remember Pooh was sad once. Okay, we are now...
Oh, this may be the biggest band in the parade, not to mention the world, counting the drum major and banner and the flag bearers. There are 445 of them, and they could have marched to this parade as well as in it from Arcadia. Just to the east of us, here's the Arcadia High School Apache Marching Band.
They're wearing cardinal red and white West Point-style uniforms. And it's their 11th appearance in the parade. They've won honors at every parade and field competition they've ever entered. That's a pretty good record. What a massive
the Arcadia
band.
High School Marching Band. Phenomenal.
Arcadia just had a fire, you know.
They did, and they survived it
got it under
beautifully.
control.
From Las Cruces, New Mexico, here are the 250 members of the Mayfield High School Trojan Marching Band. Impressive, though the band is only one of 12 musical groups in the school, which altogether involve 25% of the student body.
This is the first time for the Trojans in the Rose Parade, and they are following their tradition of performing classical music to a march tempo. They've won top honors at New Mexico's Tournament of Bands in the past 2 years.
For those of you sitting in your atlases at the ready, Las Cruces is in southern New Mexico, 3 hours drive south of Albuquerque. It's the home of New Mexico State University, and it's near the White Sands Missile Range.
That was from the Messiah there, Handel's Messiah.
Excellent.
Okay, once I get off the patriotic songs, I'm doing okay.
54 floats, 24 marching bands, 26 equestrian units.
Thank you. 1 million people along the parade route, 365 million watching on TV. But a parade is more than just numbers. It's letters. It's numbers, letters, and fun.
Look at these beautiful palominos representing 2 organizations, both with a North American shrine. They're just beautiful.
There they are.
Oh, now we've moved on to Hocus Pocus.
And now we're back to the palomino.
Now we're back to Hocus Pocus.
This is truly magic. This Rose Parade doesn't give a trophy for the most clever float title, but if it did, I would nominate this one, Hocus Pocus. The title and the float are the work of South Pasadena, which is to the south of us here in Pasadena. I bet you figured that out on your own, didn't you?
The astronomer at the small end of the telescope is tracking the space aliens at the large end of it, while the space aliens are toying with him at the other end, which raises the question, are we alone in space, or is there intelligent life out there somewhere? Sorry, other intelligent
there we
life.
go.
Did I make that point?
And if so, are they watching the parade? The aliens on the float look like the kind of folks who would enjoy it. And if they're watching, should we be getting space residuals?
Oh, Dougie, look at this. This float is the 50th entry from the Lutheran Laymen's League, and it's a celebration of the role of religion in America.
There's the steeple, open the doors, and no, wait, the people are on the outside. It shows a small country church. There's a soaring steeple with a bell tolling so folks can hear the services. It's accented by 18 illuminated glass windows.
They're not real glass. They're simulated using clear plastic, which is covered with flower petals, linarias, straw flowers.
When New Year's Day falls on a Saturday, we not only get a great weekend parade, but we get an added bonus, the very best of pro football, the NFL on CBS.
Here to tell us about the full NFL menu tomorrow is Jim Nantz, my friend of CBS Sports. Happy New Year, Jim.
Right in front of my TV set.
And I'll be suited up in my flannels finishing my Christmas cards.
Yeah.
We have a lot more of the 111th Rose Bowl Parade in a moment. I would have to say so.
All right, it's an underwater scene. We're looking at an underwater garden with a mini submarine explorer emerging from its belly. You can see the giant manta ray, the schools of colorful fish, a sand shark, and a curious octopus.
So beautiful.
There's the octopus.
Absolutely beautiful. More than 1,500 Auto Club members spent more than 6,000 hours to decorate the float, and those youngsters aboard represent the Children's Miracle Network, a charity supported by the club. Very good.
Outstanding. Look at the little fish swimming about.
Would it be a school of fish?
It would be a school of fish.
Just gorgeous.
And the people there are dressed in neoprene suits.
Yes, the Automobile
They're gonna get
Club
hot,
of
isn't it?
Southern California.
Tentacles there. Look at the little suction cups on our octopus.
It's like, kind of like people sometimes.
There's the manta ray. He does look like he's swimming, doesn't he?
We have Gabira.
There's the submarine.
Look at the coral.
There's a school.
Beautiful. Perhaps a tigerfish, if you will.
Well, they're striped.
It's a beautiful float. And this is the Grand Marshal's Trophy.
There looks like hedge trimming seaweed. All right. We're looking at the 89th float entry from the city of Los Angeles. It's called A Green LA, and it's about ensuring a balance between growth and the natural environment.
On the house up front, you can see the solar panels, and further back in the front of the cityscape, you can see the wind power generator, both of them energy sources that don't burn fossil fuels.
As a demonstration of the balance, the float is shared by lush gardens and the cityscape of Los Angeles. A part of the gardens is the sculptured bird of paradise, which, believe it or not,
What?
is the official flower of Los Angeles.
I did not know.
It is true.
And I have them in front of the house.
See you?
I like them a lot. In front of the LA cityscape, you can see a replica of the famous Hollywood sign. For those of you who are not sure of this bit of geography, I'd have to say Hollywood is a community that lies entirely within the city limits of Los Angeles, Doug.
I know that to be true.
Well, here's a float that's making a splash in the year 2000. It's the 83rd entry from Long Beach, California, and its purpose is to express the city's pride as a fun place. I should have Doug explain the rest.
Well, I will. Long Beach is a city with a porpoise. Lots of them. They live in the coastal waters of the Pacific. And this one we're looking at right now is over 25 feet high, counting its top hat. Notice the way he keeps winking. It's a fresh porpoise.
Oh, wow.
Looks like a fun
I
guy.
have to question how seaworthy he is. He's covered with crushed sweet rice, silver leaf, and Ming moss. His tux and top hat are black seaweed and onion seed. It's a lot of stuff. I must say that this has all been fantastic, all these floats.
This next band, wait a minute, it's a float. No, it's a band on a float.
Isn't it amazing?
And you thought this job had no stress. We're coming to you live. Have I mentioned that? Let's celebrate. We had no Y2K problem. That just happens to be the name of this float.
It's from the Portland Rose Festival up in Oregon, which is proud to be the second largest floral parade in the nation after the Rose Parade.
Those musical creatures are wearing red, white, and gold band jackets decorated with carnations, marigold, and button mums.
All during the last year, the world has been counting down the months, days, hours, minutes, and seconds to the new millennium.
Presented to you by AT&T. Well, Victoria, there goes the first parade of the new millennium. All 2.5 hours of it.
I think we've been part of history, Doug. After all, no other parade host can say they've done what we've done or how we did it for another 1,000 years.
I'm proud of that. And you know what else I'm proud of?
No.
We got through the entire 2.5 hours only once mentioning the dread word Y2K. Once or twice, whatever. It won't spoil our 2000. And I predict it will be a great year for Dr. Amanda Bentley on Diagnosis Murder, as well as for you, Victoria Rowell.
Thank you, Doug. And my prescription for the year ahead is to stay positive, work hard, and get your daily dose of the young and the restless so we can follow you as the debonair detective Paul Williams. I hope that you and everyone out there have a wonderful new year.
I'm going to bring in my family right now because I couldn't agree more. Thanks for being with us, and happy 2000, everyone. Everybody,
Happy New Year! Love you, Maya!